Hi, Phil Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine with another unboxing video, and this time it's Winger. Chapter 1, The Atlantic Years 1988 to 1993. I'm going to be looking inside the vinyl set and also the CD variant as well. These sets are very similar in respect to Rat, Dokken, Motley Crue, the recent Dio one, and also Skid Row as well. So without further ado, let's have a look inside both boxes. So this is Winger, Chapter 1, The Atlantic Years 1988 to 1993. I'll look at the CD box first of all. It's the first ever CD collection of Winger's Atlantic Records years. That's true. Newly remastered by Ted Jensen. Remaster's been overseen by Kip Winger. Includes multi-platinum albums. Winger 1988, Winger 2, In the Heart of the Young 1990. Plus 1993's fans' favourite, and it is Paul, plus a fourth CD featuring original demo versions of Winger's biggest hits. So it's been remastered. I'll talk about the sound when I come to the summary at the end of this video. On the back it lists all the albums and the tracks. Inside the box are the four CDs. The first album from 1988. These are just digipacks, just literally fold out card affairs, a bit like the Rat version box set that came out recently, with the track titles, a few credits, just a few pictures behind some of the discs but not all of them, and the tracks on the back, so just mirroring the original album. Number 2, In the Heart of the Young, picture of the band, and then I think there's a few pictures behind, there is, and the track titles on the back. Paul, my favourite. Again, these are very simple digipacks. There's not much information. There's no booklets, and the demo disc is the fourth one. Demo Anthology is it called, with the tracks on the back. So that's the CD set. Quite a basic affair, but as it says on the front, they've been remastered by Ted Jensen, and also Kip has been involved with all of that. But all the effort, all the energy, I feel, has gone into the vinyl set. And I say that because although it says exactly the same, remastered, etc. by Ted Jensen, overseen by Kip Winger, it's on 180 gram black vinyl, hurrah, and it includes the albums, as I've said, but it also includes a 16-page booklet with rare photos, images from Winger's personal archives, and that almost reads exactly as the very excellent Rat box set we had recently from BMG. So in the box set there are 4 albums, so I'll take them out now. So it's again the classic kind of vinyl box set outer casing that we've seen quite a lot of, and it's very good. The first album is the first album, Winger. Now the lyrics are included in here, so whatever was included on the original vinyl albums with the inner sleeve is here. These are great pressings, but I'll talk about that in a moment. They're not in polyline sleeves, but you can always add that yourself, but they slide in and out really easily. So that's the first one. The second one, In the Heart of the Young, has all the lyrics, as it would have done originally when it came out. This is towards the tail end of the glory days of this style of music, really. And the picture of the band on the back. And then Paul, which is my favourite, again has all the lyrics on the inner sleeve. Absolutely fantastic album. And the Anthology. This doesn't give you any background or story behind the tracks, but I guess the music talks for itself as well. And then finally, the booklet, which is a really glossy affair, and the band have been involved in this. As I open it up, you've got first of all Rod talking here, Rod Morgenstein talking to the drummer, talking about how he met the band, how he got involved. Some great photographs. The paper stock is really luxurious, just like the Rat one. Handwritten lyrics on the side. We've got Red Beach talking about the origins of the band. Great stories. Paul, some great photographs and memorabilia. And then Kip gets a couple of pages, as he should, going into far more detail about the band. Again, some handwritten lyrics over here. And again, and some great photographs, and it finishes with lots of memorabilia and lots of photographs as well. Again, this is all lovely paper stock. It's a great booklet, and then a breakdown of each album, and it's in here. It was remastered by Ted Jensen again, and it's a great booklet. So the vinyl set has a very, very different luxurious feel than the CD. And anyway, but I'll talk about the sum up what I think now in the summary. So that's a look inside Winger, the vinyl box set and the CD set as well. The Atlantic years 1988 to 1993. Now, both of these sets have been remastered by Ted Jensen, and also all the work has been overseen by Kip Winger. So these, I don't feel, are cash-ins at all. The band have been involved and they wanted to do this. And that's especially true, I feel, of the vinyl set. As you saw, there is a difference in the presentation and what's included. The nearest comparison will be the Rat box set, where Stephen Percy was involved with that, and I think you saw the same thing, that the vinyl box set came with a few bells and whistles and a glossy booklet. The Winger one comes with the glossy booklet with essays from each member of the band talking about their thoughts about everything, lots of pictures, whereas the CD set is basic digipacks. There's no lyrics or anything, it's just the 4 albums. Now, I'm going to talk about the sound quality now, because I know that's what some of you want to do. So whether you want to buy either of these sets, I have personally never owned any Winger albums on vinyl. So the vinyl set to me is essential, and getting the booklet with it, and the pressings are great. They're pressed in Czechoslovakia and they're silent. There's no paper dust on them. I didn't wash them or clean them first. I just played them and they sounded great. And my comparison was, I've got the original albums on CD. These are the original Atlantic ones, which came out. I don't know when they were released on CD, but it's just probably at the time actually. So I've got the first one, the second one. I've got Paul as well. So what I did was I played those and then compared them to the new vinyl editions. And I've always felt that the way that Winger albums are produced, they sounded great. They're from the 80s, but they don't have the trappings of 80s production to me. I always felt that Winger were different than the other hair metal bands that they were called hair metal because they had lots of hair, but I hate that phrase, I really do. I felt that Winger had the songs. They also had a secret weapon. Well, they had several, didn't they, really? They had Rob Morgenstein on drums. Now, Rob was the drummer with Dixie Dregs. He's a prog guy. And in the booklet, in the vinyl set, it talks about how when he auditioned, he wanted to make sure he played everything absolutely clean and make sure it was simple, because he was joining potentially a heavy metal band. And it was Rob Beach that knew of the Dixie Dregs. And then when Kip Winger realised he'd got someone who could play prog, which is some of the music he really liked himself when he was growing up, he just told him to let rip. And I think that is what makes Winger different. Obviously, Rob Beach is absolutely fantastic guitarist. Kip is a fantastic bass player, and that voice, he had one of the most soulful voices from bands of that period, and he's a very talented guy. He writes ballets, he's into classical music. His solo albums, the more recent Winger albums are fantastic. They deserve to be reappraised, and these albums, I feel, have stood the test of time. The first album is fantastic. Mandolin, Hungry, 17, Time to Surrender, Heading for a Heartbreak, great guitar solo on that. They've all got classic tracks on, all of them. This one, Can't Get Enough, Miles Away, fantastic track as well. I just could, In the Heart of the Young, but I have to say my favourite one is Paul. This one here. Again, it's a very simple affair in the CD set, as you saw, but musically, this is the album that should have really broken them across the world. It's different. They were adapting. Grunge was happening all around them, but it's still one hell of a rock album. How many of you still remember Down Incognito from Headbangers Ball, or listen to Who's the One? This is such a brilliant album. It really, really is. What could be done better? Because I'm sitting here saying how great everything is. There are no extra... Well, let's rephrase what I'm about to say. There are extra tracks. There's an extra album, isn't there, which features all of the demos, well, lots of demos. And those demos are the demo anthology I have here, is Madeleine, Hungry, 17, Heading for a Heartbreak, Can't Get Enough, Easy Come, Easy Go, Miles Away, Blind Revolution, Mad, Down Incognito, and Who's the One. Now, that covers the whole of this period. So there are demo tracks and all of that. So what are they like? Well, they don't sound like demos. They're more rough around the... When I say rough, they're more rocky. They're not as polished. They're more kind of, you're closer to the band. So they sound great to me. They're more kind of live. So they're great. So only thing, could this be better? And I guess to be a compromise. And it's always about compromising, isn't it? On this CD compilation, which I bought in 2001, there's a song called On the Inside, which I think was written around the time of Paul, but wasn't recorded until 2001. So fair enough. They couldn't really put that on, could they? I guess. But it's one hell of a track. In fact, it's one of the best Winger tracks of all time, but it sits on this compilation. Okay. There's also an outtake called Hell to Pay, which is from the Paul sessions. Now, it obviously was seen to be good enough to be on the compilation back then, but it's not on here. I understand on the vinyl version of Paul, it was probably pushing it to put it on there because it's already 10 tracks, 5 tracks on each side. And again, if vinyl gets too long, the quality can dip. But it could have gone on the CD version because obviously the vinyl set comes with a booklet and the CD doesn't, but that would have maybe given the CD a little bit of an extra point perhaps. And the other thing was on the first album, when it was released on CD, there's a bonus track called Higher and Higher. This warranted having its lyrics in the first CD variation, but it's not been included on the vinyl set or the CD set. Now, I don't think it's an oversight because Kip Winger and Ted Jensen have worked closely together on these sets, so it was obviously an artistic decision that they felt the flow of the original art, that they didn't want them there. So that's fair enough. But of course, fans sometimes do. So maybe that extra track could have been put on the track with all the demos, although technically I suppose neither of those tracks were demos. But that would be my only criticism. Sound quality. I played my original CDs. These albums have also been released, well, 2 of them have, on the Rock Candy label. I don't have those. So those CDs probably come with 4,000 word booklets. The original CDs came with lyrics, etc. As I say, I don't know what the Rock Candy remasters sound like. I imagine they're quite good. I always felt that Winger albums sounded great anyway. They're great producers, great sound, and I just thought they always sounded pretty good. I played the original CDs and then I put the vinyl albums on. The vinyl, the remastering by Ted Jensen, it's a few notches above my original CDs. So the new vinyl albums sound great. I then played the new CD from the new CD box set, and again, was there a difference between the CD and vinyl? Only probably in a bit of volume, perhaps, because CDs are always mastered a bit louder. But they were both, the CD and the vinyl were way above my old original CDs. So my original CDs can be retired. I think the remastering is fantastic. Kip Winger's been involved. Ted Jensen really knows what he's doing. So I can't criticise them. And I think the covers, the inner sleeves, of course, the vinyl comes with all the lyrics, with the original inner sleeves. So the vinyl set obviously gets 10 out of 10. It gets 10 out of 10 because of the albums themselves, of the presentation, and of course of that, if I can just erase it lift it up from everything, this booklet is just marvellous. It's not massive. For those thinking it's a giant book, it's a bit smaller than perhaps the one with the Rat box set, but they could have easily not bothered. It could have easily just been a set of 4 albums in a box, which sometimes these things are. So I think a vinyl box set with a booklet, it just adds to it. And this is, if you already have these on vinyl, that might be all you need. But if you're a fan of this era of music, of Winger, and you came through from the CD age, and you've always wanted to have the Winger albums on vinyl, this is a great way of getting them. It's the best way of getting them. If you don't have any Winger albums on CD, then buying this set will actually be more cost effective than buying them on Rock Candy and then seeking out the others on eBay or Discogs. So it serves its purpose as well. And if you're a mega fan, then you might even go down the route of having both. But they really are a great band. And if I was going to point you towards where to start, if you're new to this or you think that all of these bands had a similar sound, some did. But Kip Winger's voice is so soulful, such a great vocalist and songwriter. And I was saying, having a bit of prog experimentation of the drums really gave them a different feel. And of course, Rob's guitar playing is exceptional. I think on one of my recent videos where I looked at moments to define a guitarist, and I picked Rob Beach from Winger for one of those albums, and it was a later album, but I have to say, something that Pete Pardo mentioned, Sieg Tranquility, is Heading for the Heartbreak. The solo on the end of that is absolutely stunning. It really, really is. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me and becoming a patron or a YouTube member. Remember, music is the healer and the doctor. So keep spinning those discs, and I shall see you very, very soon.